If you keep an eye on international news, you've probably heard about Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, who's the head of Russia's nuclear, biological, and chemical protection troops, and he was killed in an explosion in Moscow earlier today. He was close to Russia's oligarchy, his inner circle, and he was the highest ranking official to be killed by Ukraine since this war began. Well, one big reason the global media is showing this so much and zeroing in on this attack on General Kirillov is that for the first time since the war started, Ukraine has openly taken credit for it. There's no cryptic statements, no subtle hints, just a clear and direct claim affirming that they assassinated this general. And that's a first. And it's a message aimed squarely at Putin, his oligarchs, and the Russian elite. As I said before, Kirillov wasn't just any line general. He led Russia's radiation, chemical, and biological defense troops. His role was quite significant, especially considering Russia's long history of chemical warfare cover-ups. You remember all the chemical warfare in Syria? Bashar al-Assad earned the nickname Chemical Assad for a reason. The Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons has documented more than 390 cases of chemical weapons use in Syria since 2014. But Assad didn't do this all on his own. Russia was always there to lend a hand, helping deploy these horrific weapons and blocking investigations using their veto power in the UN Security Council when anyone in the world tried to intervene. Kirillov was the center of this. And since the invasion of Ukraine began in 2022, chemical weapons have reportedly been used in over 4,800 cases. Over 2,000 soldiers have been hospitalized for chemical poisoning and 3 have died. In October, the United Kingdom even sanctioned Kirillov and his unit for using banned chemical weapons in Ukraine. Then, on December 16th, Ukrainian prosecutors charged Kirillov in absentia for deploying these weapons. Less than 24 hours later, he was killed in Moscow. So think about that. Ukraine managed to strike a high-ranking general living in a secure compound meant to protect Russian top brass. This is a nightmare for Putin. The attack happened in Moscow, and it's everywhere. It's on Russian news. Local footage is being shown. The Western media is playing it. Ukraine didn't let the Kremlin control the narrative either. By claiming responsibility, they preempted any denials that could have come from Russia, or Russia saying things like, oh, it was just a gas explosion or something like that. So this is a humiliation for Putin. And it is yet another red line that is exposed as meaningless, as Putin has said he would not tolerate the assassination of his friends, his generals, and his oligarchs. He didn't respond when Ukraine hit Moscow with drones. He didn't respond when they attacked refineries. And he didn't respond when Ukraine moved into Kursk. And now, after one of his generals was assassinated in a secure compound in Moscow, there's little Putin can do except spin the story or try to sweep it under the rug. For his part, Dmitry Medvedev, deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, vowed, quote, inevitable retribution in response to the assassination. Now, the international community can't really criticize Ukraine here. Kirillov was sanctioned for violating international law. His role in Syria's chemical attacks and his assaults on Ukrainian troops are well documented. So this wasn't just a random hit. It was precise. It was deliberate. Ukraine knew where Kirillov would be. He knew when he would be there, and they acted. And this has to send chilling messages to Russia's military and its security forces, and even those that operate in the Kremlin themselves, because Ukraine has made it clear that no one is untouchable, not even in Moscow.